For decades, the world-renowned James Bond franchise has seen both great villains and disappointing antagonists. With every James Bond being portrayed through different characters and numerous unique villains, these films have never failed to provide a unique experience. From evil masterminds to villainous henchmen with a touch of charisma, the spy's skills have been tested in a multitude of varying ways, sometimes even outlandish. However, in each James Bond movie, not all of these characters are created equal. While some of these antagonists became cultural icons, others fell short in their tracks, feeling more like a low-budget knockoff. From the calculating nature of Le Chiffre to the grandiose conquests of Blofeld, these villains aren't just there to create tension for Bond, they are movie stars on their own. With that being said, not every Bond villain has reached this level of quality, to the extent that the viewer might even be left wondering what the filmmakers were thinking in the first place. The worst and best James Bond villains differ in goals and personality. Worst, Dominic Green. Quantum of Solace, 2008. Dominic Green possesses a sinister backdrop. He's a lover of all things manipulative. He is infatuated with the control of natural resources and governments, but his plot indefinitely feels half-baked. He's more forgettable than threatening, leaving the viewers wondering where the climax is. Green feels like a failed mission, impossible villain in most aspects, perpetually sitting in the comfort zone of mediocrity with an agenda as murky as the water he wants to control. Green fails to build a vast legacy. His speeches are menacing but forgettable, and his schemes are crazy but predictable. His villainy almost exists in the background of Quantum of Solace, providing just a minor threat to Bond. Dominic Green blatantly does not present himself as a serious menace, despite having a solid potential to build tension in an elaborate film. While not the worst villain in the franchise's history, this antagonist certainly is close. 9. Best, 006. GoldenEye, 1995. Sean Bean's Alec Trevelyan is more than just a former agent gone rogue, he's the emotional epicenter of GoldenEye. As Bond's old friend and colleague turned enemy, 006 presents viewers with a chilling insight into the complications of betrayal. His scheme to destroy Britain is blatantly personal to Bond, especially considering their backgrounds together. This makes GoldenEye's final battle special, as it isn't just a fight. Trevelyan's motives are seeded with revenge, which makes the plot altogether more juicy. He knows Bond better than anyone, which is an unsettling concept considering Bond's profession as a literal spy. 006 is a captivating villain with layers on top of layers, making him one to remember. Alec Trevelyan is one of the few Bond villains with a personal connection to 007, making his betrayal hit harder. His code name, 006, symbolizes how he once stood as Bond's equal before turning against him. 8. Worst, Gustav Graves. Die Another Day, 2002. Gustav Graves is a comedic attempt at living up to expectations as a successful Bond villain. He would honestly fit better in the Austin Powers universe and most likely be humorously judged by Dr. No. Played by Toby Stephens, Graves' sinister manner is fully overshadowed by his over-the-top plot to destroy half of the world with his extreme, satellite laser. A lack of character substance is traded for eccentric gadgetry which feels like a desperate Hollywood-fueled grab for attention. Graves' personality is excessive and theatrical, and his villainous tools are adjacent to a child playing with a ridiculously expensive toy. The only thing that could make the absurd plot of Die Another Day even worse would be the pairing of an even more absurd villain who loves his evil laugh a bit too much. Despite a solid performance from Stephens, Graves' overall motives as a character feel cartoonish and lazy. He isn't the furious Bond villain most know and love, and the less said about his supervillain suit, the better. 7. Best, Le Chiffre. Casino Royale, 2006. The chilling composition of Le Chiffre's character is downright unforgettable. His quiet nature, calculating portrayal, and unique visual representation all work together to create the ultimate Bond villain. The Danish powerhouse Mads Mikkelsen presents a performance one can only dream of when creating the perfect adversary. Le Chiffre has bichromatic, different-colored eyes, a distinctive scar around his left eye, and a condition called hemolacria that causes him to weep blood. This almost snake-tongued appearance presents him as the perfect adversary to Daniel Craig's Bond.